Okay, we should be live. I know I haven't gone live on YouTube in what feels like forever, but I felt like doing this anyways. Just Twitch has become more fun, and considering some other stuff going on, I had to finish up a Let's Play of mine, and don't worry, I'm trying to get this next part of it done, but we have been having some problems with the game crashing at a certain point during the second race. But yeah, that's another topic. But anyways, I wanted to actually do this here. Go over my Retropalooza Houston pickups. And if y'all follow me on Periscope, and same name here as it is, same name there as it is here, basically I showed off my pickups from Retropalooza Houston 2017. I want to do 2018 here because I think I outdid myself this time. And trust me, I got a good amount of games, and let's just see, I'm almost up to 400 stuff, but I got a nice big stack here. This is just the first pile, and there's about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 in that pile alone. And trust me, things are only going to get crazier from here, but let me just go ahead and get this part pulled up here so I can see the chat, because I'm streaming this from my phone. And, why don't we get ourselves a little background music for this, you know? WCW, NWO Revenge, Super Brawl. It's always a good background track to use. If you ever want to use video game music, that one is pretty much a must. Especially because WCW NWO Revenge is an awesome game. Didn't get it because I don't have an N64, but I did get a good amount of other games here. Okay, give me a second. I'm gonna go here. Give me a second. Alright, we should go ahead. We are go ahead and good to go. And let's go ahead and not waste any more time. And let's get this shit started. Alright. Cue the background music. Okay, first I got one PlayStation game, and that's WWF SmackDown. It was $8, CIB. Disc was in very nice condition too. Okay. Next I got two 360 games. Full Auto, which was like $6. A Burnout kind of game with machine gun cars and with machine guns on the cars. I got Two Human for $5. Because we gotta get more 360 exclusives. Next I got two GameCube games. Amazing Island, which was $12. With the reg card here. Basically the back of the box calls it, at least what Game Informer says, Mario Party meets Pokemon. That's all you need to know. Next is Wave Race Blue Storm. Now it says $7.95 on the price tag, but they ended up selling it to me, like, I got this from the same seller where I bought Amazing Island, and they actually ended up selling this to me for like $5, which is a really good deal and a really nice condition, because I've wanted to play this friggin' game for so damn long. What the hell? Oh yeah, the casers are actually styled a little differently here. Check that out. I knew that was a thing. Okay, next I got several Wii games. Game Party 2 here. Getting the other Game Party games because, well, they're all exclusives, and gotta have those exclusives. By the way, Game Party 3 really has, like, all of the games from, like, the first two, except maybe, like, Air Hockey or whatever from 1, but that's not a big loss, and, like, Game Party 3 controls the best. Okay. And that one was, like, only a few bucks or $5 or so, I'd like to think. Next is Mad World. I got this one for $10. It's a very gory sort of kind of action game with a Sin City graphic style here. Next is Nerf and Strike Elite. Got this one for like $3 or so. Or actually got this in a lot with a few other games, which I'll mention in a moment. The guy didn't have the blaster. He thought he did, like, the special one here with the red thing on it compared to the first one, the scope. But, yeah, he really didn't have that, though. He confused it with another one, but that's okay. Alright, this one in that lot with the two, that one and the other ones I got for, like, what was that, like, So this one here ended up making the lot $10 because I ended up getting 3 for $3 and got 1 for $1, and it was this Ready to Rumble Revolution. This is a boxing game of sorts, like the last in the Ready to Rumble series, and I think this was like the last game developed under the Aki name. As you can see, Aki, but like the Aki USA branch. Okay. Next is the Conduit, which was $6. It's a shooter for the Wii from High Voltage and Sega, and it actually uses Wii Speak, so if you were to play this online back in the day and you had Wii Speak, you could speak with others. Next is the Skycrawlers, Innocent Aces, powered by Project Aces. This was $8. It's basically a combat flight game like Ace Combat, from the developers of Ace Combat, based on a anime movie. I've been wanting that one for a while. Next in that lot where I got Ready to Rumble and Nerf and Strike is Wii Ski. And it uses the balance board too. It's a ski game here of sorts. It was known as Family Ski in Europe and Japan. It does kind of sound like you're saying whiskey. And the last game I got in that lot for like $10 Wii game lot was Wii Play here. Now, interesting story about this. The disc the guy originally had when he sold me it didn't work. If any of you follow my Twitch, you know I had that trouble. And this damn one, like the disc didn't work. But what ended up actually happening, interesting story, was I was flipping, he had also a bunch of disc-only games. And like I was flipping through them and I found Wii Play, and he actually let me have it for free, and that version worked. So I took the failed resurfaced disc and put that up there. And then I used the new disc in that case. So yeah, that's stack 1, all from day 1. That's like the other category where I didn't have enough to choose from. Alright, the next set of games I'm gonna do is day 1 Xbox pickups. Okay, that's 1 stack down. Another stack to go. Okay. There's about, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 original Xbox games. Okay, let's go through them all. We're gonna go in reverse order here, because I have them all separated in alphabetical order, but the stack at the bottom starts the lowest letter, then works its way up alphabetically. Okay. First is Yu-Gi-Oh! Dawn of Destiny, which was like only $5. Manual, actually, this part here, like the front cover, doesn't hold together well. It's not stapled on. It got torn off, but everything else is fine, and the side here is a little faded, but it still works. It's probably worth it. Next is Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus. This was $8. It's a fighting game from one half of the former creators of a co-creator of Mortal Kombat, as it says here. Like Tobias, I forget exactly what his last name was, but it should say in the credits here if I could find it. John Tobias, actually, I believe. John Tobias. Next is Spy Hunter 2, which I got for $5. I've been wanting the reboot Spy Hunter trilogy for a while now, and at least I found one of them. This was the only one I could find on the Xbox, though. I couldn't find, I only found, the first one on the PS2, and I couldn't find, Nowhere to Run anywhere at the convention. Phantasy Star Online Episode 1 and 2, which is $5. Now, interesting fact about this one, actually, if you actually have a gamer tag on your 360, you can actually still, play this game. Well, you can't play it online because the original Xbox Live is gone, but, it is compatible with the Xbox 360, so you're still able to play it offline if you have a 360 or a modded Xbox. Next is Nightcaster, Defeat the Darkness, which was $5. This part's here a little broken, but otherwise everything else is fine. It's an RPG of sorts, I think, from the looks of it here. It's kind of interesting, and yeah, more exclusives here, back when Microsoft actually had exclusives. Next up is New Legends. This was also $5. And it's an action game of sorts. Next is Kakato Chojin Back Alley Brutal, which was $10. This is kind of another kind of fighting game they had on the Xbox. Now, think about this one. There was actually controversy with it. Like, one of the stages, there's like verses from the Quran that play like in the music in the background, and some other governments got a little pissed off about that. Not anyone in the US, but Microsoft ended up recalling it worldwide. It's still easy to find, though, for a relatively good price. Next is Hunter the Reckoning, which was $5. I've been wanting this one for a while, ever since it was on the backwards compatibility list, and now I have it. Next is, hold on a minute. This one has a special plastic wrap here, so I'm going to take it out. But next up is the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack, which basically gives you like 9 like brand new maps essentially, and here's the ad of course for the other games here. I'm pretty sure it's the same though as the regular Halo 2 here. Yeah, it is for the most part, if I remember correctly. But yeah, this gives you extra maps essentially. Like if you didn't have Xbox Live, you just buy this in person essentially, and yeah, just have them install them on your hard drive. Next is a Black Label Halo, which was $5. I did not actually, for the longest time, have a Black Label, like, Halo Combat Evolved on the original Xbox, because I had this on the PC, physical box, still have, by the way, and, I'm trying to think, yeah, I had it digitally as well from, Xbox Originals, like on the 360, but not a physical copy until now. Next is, Genma Onimusha. This is an upgraded version of Onimusha 1 with a whole bunch of improvements. This was only $10. Ooh, damn. There's some fucking residue on this one. Crap. Hold on, that's nothing. Alright. Okay. Kind of rubbed off here. Okay, next one is From Russia with Love, based on the classic Bond movie of the same name. This was only $5 too. All I need is Everything or Nothing, and I'll have every Bond game I could get of the 6th gen, except for maybe Nightfire, but they're doing a Source remaster of it. Oh god, there's residue on this one. Okay, last one for the Xbox stuff is Crash, Wrath of Cortex, which I got for $10. Okay, there's a lot of residue on this Xbox stuff. Now, I want to get into the last sort of set of pickups for day one, and it's probably the biggest. Oops. Shit. Dropped one, but yeah, it's still in place, it's fine. But it's a whole load of PlayStation 2 games, and I mean a good amount of them too. Like, there's like 22 of these damn bad boys in this fucking lot. Oh, man, that's heavy. Alright, why don't we go and change up the music a little bit. Civilization 3, Stars Full. Or it's also seen in Mall Tycoon 2. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead and get into this. Alright, first, Yu-Gi-Oh! Capsule Monsters Coliseum. And we'll go in reverse order. Got this for $20, and it's a spin-off of like the main style Yu-Gi-Oh! Games that focuses on the Capsule Monsters side game of sorts. Next is a Wave Rally for $3. It was a jet ski game. It is a jet ski game. And I had to get this one because, well, it's exclusive, and always looking out for more of these kind of jet ski-like games, considering I like games like Wave Race and 64, Blue Storm, Splashdown Rides Gone Wild too. Alright, yeah, now I have another one. Okay, next is Tokyo Extreme Racer Drift 2, which was $5. Next is Weekend in Tactics, which was $15. I literally could have bought this on Amazon Seal for $20, but I saw it there and I thought, might as well just get it here. And I even have it too with the bonus soundtrack here as well. And speaking of Suikoden, Next is Suikoden 4, which was 20 bucks. I now have every Suikoden game, actually, because I got Suikoden 3 and 5, or at least not every Suikoden game, but every Suikoden game on the PlayStation 2. Because I got Suikoden 3 and 5 at Delta H-Con, and now I have these two here. Next is the original SSX. This was $3. Never played the first SSX, or never had it, but now I do, actually. And considering it was exclusive to the PS2, it should have came home much sooner. Next up, sorry about that. Some jerk here actually thought it was a good idea to try and call me. Hold on, I need to get a new charger to just enjoy the nice relaxing music. That's why I have the battery, ladies and gentlemen. Alright, phone's hooked up on juicer. Now, before I was interrupted, our next game in this lot is SOCOM 3, which was only a few dollars. By the way, it has manuals in both English and French. A little redundant, but it must have been a Canadian copy, because that's usually probably where you'd more find a French manual. Okay, next up, which was also $3, Smuggler's Run. Another launch title. This one also from Rockstar and like Angel Studios. Same team behind Midnight Club, so yeah, that had to be got. Next up, Shadow Hearts Covenant. The price is $35, but I got it for $32. There's disc 1, disc 2, and there's your manual. Yeah, it's the second Shadow Hearts game. That's the only Shadow Hearts that I could find at the damn convention. Alright, we're almost still going through here. We're not quite done, but got Onimusha 3 for like, what, 10 or so? Yeah, it's complete. And, hold on, I didn't put this on loop here. Alright, next is Onimusha 2. That was $6. So now I have the original Onimusha trilogy, at least. Alright. Next up is Mad Maestro, a game where you play as a maestro. It was $3. It's a very interesting game of sorts. Alright. Next is probably the best find that I found at the convention. Haunting Ground, which was $100. The sort of spiritual successor to the Clock Tower series, more specifically 3. And yeah, I found several copies of this actually. This was one of them for like $100. I think Scott Squatch's table, he had like another copy as well as CIB, but it was like, what was it? It was 120 or so. And there's another copy there too. The same sellers had this one. Sold me this copy. Actually had another one that was loose, just disc only in generic case. Yeah. Just put that there. Next for $10 was Harvest Moon, A Wonderful Life, the special edition, which this game was originally released on the GameCube, but this PS2 version actually adds some bonus content in it, which is nice. Next is Godai. Let me get rid of that. Okay. Next is Godai Elemental Force, a platforming action game of sorts from the 3DO company, not related to the original makers of the 3DO or something like that. This was only $5 and exclusive to. Next is Genji, Dawn of the Samurai. This was only what, $5? Later released in the PlayStation 2's lifespan, and the sequel actually for that game spawned the Giant Enemy Crab meme. Ooh, here's another nice one. Endgame, actually. This was like $15 originally, but I got this like and a couple other games, which I'll mention in a little bit. They are after this next one I show here. So this was originally $15, but I got it essentially for like a little cheaper, like say $12 or so. It's a light gun game of sorts too. Supports GunCon and GunCon 2, so never bothered getting it until now. So I ended up getting it now, of course. Next is Echo the Dolphin, Defender of the Future, which was $5. This, I believe, was like actually the last sort of like Echo game that we've had in a while. This was originally supposed to get released on the Dreamcast, or it did get released on the Dreamcast, and then later ported to the PlayStation 2. There was supposed to be a sequel to it, but that never happened. There is a tech demo of sorts to the sequel, but it just reuses assets from Defender of the Future. Alright, here's the next ones. Here's the next two games I got in that lot with Endgame for like 28. These next two were 8. Like, Endgame would have been 15. So, you could consider me getting Endgame for $12 thanks to these two. Dynasty Warriors 2, which was a PS2 only title. And Dragon Ball Z, Budokai Tenkaichi 1. Exclusive and the first in the Budokai Tenkaichi trilogy. 3 is probably my favorite. I haven't played 2 in forever. And that one feels slow and sluggish from what I've played so far, but I hope to warm up to it sooner or later. Okay. Next is Burnout Dominator, which was $6. This was a spin-off of Burnout, essentially, while we were, there was a little down period before Paradise was released, and, this was the last one released on the PlayStation 2. Also came out on the PSP, but if you want it on consoles, you can only get it on the PlayStation 2. And the last one of this lot here, the one I dropped at the beginning, Amplitude, which was $6. Oop, manual and stuff has trouble staying up there, but that's okay. This is basically a rhythm game that was sort of a pseudo-sequel to Frequency, which was developed by the same team who developed this, Harmonix. And that's basically it for the PlayStation 2 lot. It adds everything from day one as well. Mostly day one stuff. But this next stuff I'll get into is all day 2. Just give me a moment. I gotta put these all back in their place. Okay. Now, on to the day 2 stuff. Not a hell of a whole lot to top all that, but there's still some good stuff. Let's start with the Wii games. I got 3 of them. Zelda Twilight Princess, which was only $10, so I couldn't pass it up. Next is Trauma Center New Blood, which was $5. I actually bought the previous Trauma Center game on the Wii Second Opinion at another convention for $5. And the last one I got for $3, Far Cry Vengeance. I actually previously had this, beat it, and then traded it back in, but now I have a new working copy back, at least I hope. This is basically a remake of Far Cry Instinct's Evolution from the Xbox. It's kind of a bleh remake, but still, it can be enjoyable for a little bit. I got one Xbox 360 game for $3, and that's Forza Motorsport 2. Did not get into the Forza series until later, because, fate prevented me from nah, I'm just joking, but whatever. I did not actually have Forza 2 eventually. I got Forza 1 a while back, but never did get the sequels, and now I have Forza 2. Alright, next, we have about several Xbox games. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 Xbox games and 7 PlayStation 2 games. First is WrestleMania 21, Become a Legend. This is, from what I've heard, the worst Xbox wrestling game out of the bunch, essentially, because there's this, at least for WWE stuff, because there's this, there's Raw 2, which I couldn't find, and there's Raw 1, which I couldn't find. And out of them, I've heard that Raw 2 is the best. Next is Time Splitters 2, which was only $5. Got the first Time Splitters actually at last year's Retropalooza Houston, but didn't get the sequel until much later. All I need is Future Perfect, and then I'm good. Next for $5 was NFL Street, an either EA Sports big title that basically kind of made street football essentially, or street football in video game form. Next, actually, these next two I got in a lot for like 20 with 2 other PlayStation 2 games that I'll mention, but so you can consider like I got each of these games essentially for 20, so it's like $5 per game, which was a steal, especially for these next ones. First, Mercenaries, the Playground of Destruction. It's a shooter of sorts from the same team behind the original Battlefront games, Pandemic. And next is Kingdom Under Fire, The Crusaders, also 5. Just need the sequel to Kingdom Under Fire, which I couldn't find, but at least I have the first one here. Alright, the two that also came in that lot were PlayStation 2 games, but we'll get to those in a moment. We got 2 Xbox games left. We got Hunter of the Reckoning Redeemer, which I got for 5. This was like the 3rd game in the series, essentially. The first one also came out on the GameCube in addition to the Xbox. The sequel, I forget, I think it's Wayward, came out on the PlayStation 2, and that 3rd game there, Redeemer, came out on the Xbox. And the last one, which was $5, Brute Force, a third-person shooter of sorts, tactical-based, much like Rainbow Six. And it's when Microsoft gave a damn about exclusives, you know. Alright, and these last 7 here are PlayStation 2 games. First one that I got for $20 was Trapped. With the reg card, it's an action horror of sorts from Tecmo. The next one I got, actually with the Trapped, is Resident Evil Outbreak. Now it says 7 because I bought them both together. I was able to get them for 25, so consider this one a $5 purchase. This had online capabilities in it, but I think you can't really do that anymore unless there may be like some custom servers or something. Next is Kengo, Master of Bushido, a samurai game, which was only $5. Oh, crap. This piece here from the disc tray, or not the tray here, but the, whatever the hell you call, like, the, part that holds the manual kind of is a little broken at the moment. I'll have to decide what to do with that, so I'll just leave that out for now. 4 left. IGPX. Immortal Grand Prix for 15. This was actually based off an anime, actually, of sorts, where you're racing these, where these guys race these kind of Virtual On-esque style Gundam kind of sort of isk mechs. It aired on Toonami, and, yeah. Okay, next up. These next 2 I got in that lot with Mercenaries and, Kingdom Under Fire, The Crusaders, so count these 2 as $5 ones as purchases as well. Fire Pro Wrestling Returns, a PS2 exclusive wrestling game that's kind of like another sort of pseudo-sequel, or is a sequel to the other Fire Pro games, which are more kind of old-school wrestling games like that started back on the Super Nintendo. And they have this more kind of overhead style to them. Next is Cold Winter, an FPS game that had online capabilities in it too, from Sierra and Swordfish. That was fun. And the last game I got for $10, Armored Core Last Raven, a mech game of sorts, again in the Armored Core series. And that is pretty much all of my Retropalooza Houston pickups. Holy shit, that was a lot of them, and my collection is very, very goddamn big at the moment. Let's see, my VG Collect, I now have 370 items, and thanks to actually the Xbox purchases, I now broke over 100 Xbox games. Or I've not necessarily broken, but I've gone over 100. I have 114 now, and whew, that is a big amount. Alright, I just wanted to do this for fun. That's all there is. And, yeah. I'll see you when I see ya.